Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Yassine, and over the past 10 years, I have been an Android user, exclusively Android. But over the last month, I switched over to the new iPhone SE from 2020. Now, some of you guys are already wondering, why would I start with the SE and not the 11 or the 11 Pro as my first iPhone? But I'll get into that. But there was lots of ups and lots of downs, and I finally came to a conclusion. So here's my experience with the SE coming from Android. Okay, so the first thing that you notice when you pick this phone up is how small it is. And I actually like the size of this phone. It's easy to use with one hand, and if you guys follow my channel, then you know I like smaller phones. Like my Galaxy S20 is the regular one, not the Plus. Also for my Pixel phone, I have the regular one, not the XL. So I do like small phones. It's easy for me to use with one hand, and that's just a personal preference. But the other thing about the design that I didn't like about the SE is just how dated it looked. It's got huge bezels on the top and the bottom. Even if you compare it to what Apple has out now with the iPhone 11 and 11 Pro, and you put this right next to it, then you see how the iPhone SE looks very dated. And then you put it next to my Galaxy S20 with that punch hole camera, then you're gonna say like this iPhone SE is from a different time zone. So that's what you're gonna start noticing in terms of design. And design preference honestly differs between person to person. So I got past that real quick, but let's talk about the actual usage of this phone. So initially I was very frustrated. The fact that you don't have widgets on your home screen. You can't customize your phone as you'd like. Things else that got to me is the fact that even though things can be put in folders, I can't move the folders to the bottom of the screen if I want just the top of the whole screen to be empty if I want to have a wallpaper that I really like. There are some hacks around it where you can turn icons into the parts of the wallpaper, but I'm talking about natively. That wasn't there. So that started getting kind of annoying and kind of frustrating. And then I started thinking of it in a different way. And what really inspired that thought process is just how smooth and easy the software was to use. What I mean by that is if you want to make a phone call, it's like you press here. You want to send a message, you click here. You want Twitter, you click here. You want FaceTime, you click here. You're on a call, but you want to switch it to FaceTime, then you don't have to leave the app. And everything just works, you know, with nice continuity, and it just flows very easy. And then I do have other Apple products like my iPad and my MacBook. So when it comes to sharing files with AirDrop and just having things pop up like my iMessages on my Mac when I'm editing videos, even if without pulling the phone out of my hand, that was just smooth and just the way a phone should work. And that's when my thought process started changing about the iPhone and the iOS. I started looking at it as a tool to get something done. For instance, this knife is a tool. Okay, just follow me for a second. All it needs to do is be sharp, open boxes, and stay safe, put away. It doesn't have to be good looking. It doesn't have to complement your style or anything like that. There are other knives that do that. But this particular one, it doesn't do that. And that's the way I started looking at the iPhone, a tool, a utilitarian tool. I want to send a message, boom, it's easy to get done. I want to go on Twitter, Instagram, easy to get done. Where on my Android phone, I was thinking more of customizing it, putting widgets on it, putting icon packs and things like that to better represent me, and it for my Android phone to be an extension of me. And when you look at the iPhone like that, how it's bogged down and locked down, it doesn't let you do any of that. But if you start thinking of it as a utilitarian tool, a tool to get things done, then it makes sense. You do what you need to do, you put it in your pocket, and then you go back to doing whatever you were doing that day. And that's why it's very easy for children, little kids, 10, 12-year-olds to use the iPhone, and also elderly people that are not very tech savvy to use an iPhone because, like I said, they want to talk to their grandchildren. Here's FaceTime. It's uniform through all of the iPhones out there. So that is what happened as the process went of me using this phone over a month. I hope that makes sense. And at the end of it, I honestly came out of it enjoying my experience with the iPhone. So I'd be open to using iOS in the future, but as of now, I'm most likely going back to Android. Now, a couple of things that I do want to address on this particular phone. It's a great phone, especially for the price and that budget market that they're trying to enter. However, on the other side, the battery life is not that great, especially for someone like myself who's running a YouTube channel that's always answering comments and on the YouTube Analytics app or taking pictures for Instagram and Twitter. The battery life isn't that great. I got through about a little past halfway through the day, like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, it would be dying on me, and then I would have to find a charger and plug it up. Another thing that surprised me that I didn't know that I should have probably known is that it's got wireless charging. Must have just missed it when I was reading the spec sheet before I bought it, but it has wireless charging. I have a bunch of those around my house, so whenever I'm not using it, I just sit it there rather than being in my pocket. So that sort of helped out, but overall battery life is not that great. Last thing that I do want to touch on is that camera, and the camera is actually really good except when you're using it in low light. I did a full dedicated video comparing the camera of the iPhone SE 2020 to the iPhone 11 Pro. If you haven't seen that video, I'll leave a link down below in the description and also on a card right up here. But basically it went toe to toe with the iPhone 11 Pro except when it came to nighttime pictures and low light pictures, because this doesn't have night sight and the night sight on the 11 Pro just destroyed it. Anyway, that's all for this video, and that's been my experience using the iPhone SE from Android. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, definitely give it a thumbs up. If it's your first time to my channel, consider subscribing. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Until then, stay plugged.